Hello and welcome to the Champ We Are United Football Comic Podcast. My name is Matt Richards. I'm your host for today's show, and I'm joined in the studio by three co-hosts. First of all, I'll introduce you to the man of 1,000 words when only one would suffice. I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Paul Tangent Richardson. Hi, Paul.
Hey, thank you very much, Mute.
Boo.
Got to
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, probably deserve one actually, especially as you say. I'm always using 1,000 words. Will maybe one or two will do, but why change the habits of a lifetime, hey? And there'll be more of 1,000 words from me this pod as well,
Okay. Something to look forward to or dread.
or not? Yeah, as the
Yeah,
case may
no, who
be.
knows? Yeah, okay. Okay, and also regular co-host, I'm gonna say hello to Mr. Neil Bygone Berrigan. Hi, Neil.
Hello, you okay there? Yeah,
Very
good.
good. Yeah,
All good here.
all good there. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Excellent. Okay, good stuff. And also, we're joined in this week's show by our regular contributor, Mr. Ian Golden. Hi, Ian. How are you?
Hi, great, thanks. Hey, it's great to be promoted to regular contributor now. I love it. Rather than just friend of the show. Thank you very much for that, Matt.
Well, I just don't expect a pay rise. That's all. All
That's
right.
okay. I
I just
can go up
get a
front.
bit, awkward, especially in front of the other two guys.
No, no,
Yeah,
no, exactly.
exactly.
No, it's great to have you back on, Ian. Looking
Thank
forward
you.
to your section. So, yeah, so we're ready with this week's episode. Goal's not here. People will realise Goal's not here, but he's just kind of quite busy at the moment. So he'll be back in a few episodes' time. Um, but you never know. You might actually hear from him during the show. So stand by for that. Right. So the running order for this week's show is shortly, I will do the social media feedback. Then I'll be handing over to Tangent. Tangent, what are you doing for us this week?
Well, we've got the next instalment of the We Are United story from the Champ comic, and it's issue number 9 we're up to.
Number 9. Excellent, excellent. Okay. I've almost forgotten because it's 3 weeks since we did the last show.
It's
So I need
3 weeks. Let's
yeah,
just
yeah, I
say
know.
we've got some FA Cup and maybe some off-field antics going on, so shocking news to be reviewed without giving away too much.
That's a bit of a tease, isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Excellent stuff. Looking forward to that. And then we're going to hand over to Ian. Ian, what are you doing for us this week?
Oh, this is going to be the first part of quite a long series for me because I recently purchased the entire collection of Roy the Rovers comics. And I'm going to review each season one by one. Don't worry, it's not going to be every episode of every story because that will take weeks. But it will be a season will take a little bit of a show. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing, talking about every story that's in Roy the Rovers, what I liked and what I disliked, that kind of thing.
Excellent stuff. And I'm really looking forward to that. I've seen some of your reviews. You've been posting your reviews on the Roy the Rovers 40
I
years
have, yeah.
after, haven't you? So yeah, I've been really enjoying those. I'm sure some of the listeners have seen those and read those too. So yeah, looking forward to that. Great stuff. And then we're going to finish off the episode with another collector's corner. And you're going to kind of start steering us on that, aren't you,
Yeah.
Neil?
Lead on that one. Yeah, I've got a purchase I can tell you about. One of my small purchases and two other purchases I'm waiting for. So,
Oh, okay.
Oof.
Right. Okay. That's looking forward to that one as well. Okay. Well, that sounds good. Well, let's kick off then. Let's hand over to me. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Matt. Very good. So let's
Seamless, that
seamless.
was.
I know. It's almost as if I knew exactly what I was going to be saying before I handed over to myself.
Absolutely. Give me a moment. Carry on,
It's
mate.
it's a lot easier when you're just dealing with yourself. You haven't got to worry about other people talking. Right. Okay. So feedback from the lot. If we can think back to the last show, because it was 3 weeks ago, but that was the show
Yes.
on holiday specials, wasn't it? The very special
Oh,
show
yes, it was very, very special.
with our special guest,
Indeed. Indeed. Yes.
Mr. Barry Tomlinson. So that
None
was,
other.
yeah, I really enjoyed that. So let's have a look at the feedback which we got. So first of all, going to the Royal Rovers Comic 40 Years On Facebook site. And yeah, the first actually piece of feedback was from Mr. Tomlinson himself. And
Wow.
he says, it's always good chatting to the stars of Champ We Are United.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Oh,
Unbelievable.
yes.
I guess he's thinking, us, really, maybe. Don't know. Thank you, Barry. That was, it was a pleasure speaking to yourself. Some feedback here from Mr. Ian Golden.
Oh,
Name rings a bell.
Yeah, I think I know him.
Yeah. And Ian, you said, I'm telling you exactly what you said. This is a bit
Okay.
weird, really.
Mm.
Very enjoyable podcast again. I do like a dip into the holiday specials at times. I always noted the different artists, which does make sense. As we learned from this podcast, it takes an artist 4 days to do a 2 to 3 page story. So there would be little time to draw a special story as well. Yeah, it's always quite good fun, isn't it? Trying to spot the artists and thank you very much. Right, I've got something here from, let's introduce him with a theme tune. See if this works.
Everybody in the house of Lord. Everybody in the house of Lord. One house, one Lord.
Oh,
Oops. Sorry,
and that's why you're known as Mute Button. Muting
him off in
Goal
his
even
prime.
when he's not here.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, I'm going to be in trouble with the House of Lord now, aren't I?
Oh,
dear
tell
me.
you what, Goal upon his return, I'm sure we'll have a few words to say about that. And I can't wait to hear the next feedback from the House of Lord.
You know, it serves me right. I'm recording. I'm trying to play different. Yeah,
Produce the
clips,
theme
and I'm
tune,
trying to
sang the
read
theme
as
tune.
well. I'm a man. I can't multitask. Right. Okay. Adrian Lord. He says this was a really enjoyable podcast as always. Trigger's broom made me think of the Benidorm Festival a few years ago. Photos supplied, hopefully. And just to explain to listeners, I think Adrian goes to festival in Benidorm every year or regularly, and I think there's a all fancy dress, and a mate of his was dressed up as a Trigger with the broom. So, and he did post the photo, and it's very good. And there's actually a picture of Adrian dressed as one of the three amigos, which is excellent.
Yeah.
So if you're interested, go onto the Facebook site and you can see that. He carries on. The Olympic special was good too. Donna Hartley used to live in the next village down, and I can remember her becoming a bodybuilder. She was married to Bobby Nutt, and they were a lovely couple. Bobby loved the chat. Sadly, she died a few years ago. Nice lady though. So yeah, I think I did read actually. Donna Hartley died quite young. I think she was like 53 or something like that. So
unbelievable.
Thanks, Adrian. Bill Cole, friend of the show, regular commenter.
Yep.
Recently, so he says, love the holiday specials. Usual plan was to have at least one to take on holiday with me and then try and get another at the destination. That's good thinking, isn't it? Must admit, it's still nice to pick up the 2000 AD sci-fi special each year. It's nice, and it's nice if you can pick up something, can't you? It's. I have very fond memories of the Phil Edmonds Spotlight on Sport. Do you remember that? Barry was talking about that.
Yes.
Kind of special. Seem to recall filling in the Cricket World Cup chart as the summer went on, because that was the 1983 Cricket World Cup, wasn't it?
Yes. India won that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a surprise, wasn't it? I do remember
It
that
was.
well. Yeah. Pretty sure I got my copy in Eagle, although it could have been Tiger or 2000 AD. It certainly goes down as one of the oddest 2000 AD free gifts. Yeah, getting a cricket special in the 2000 AD comic would have been a bit strange, I guess, back then. But thank you very much, Phil. Appreciate that. Mal Dickinson commented. Mal, obviously more famous, people know him better as the 1983 Electro Olympic champion, reigning undisputed. He says, always entertaining, fella, and claps. So thanks. Cheers, Mal. Hope you're well. And then we have something for us. Let's hope this goes a bit better than Adrian Law's. Here we go.
What's that coming over the hill? Is it amusing? Is it amusing?
That's a lot better, isn't it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
it seems to ditch the Kings.
off, so.
Yeah, Kings of Leon seems to be ditched.
I must admit, I mean, he sent these in, but you can tell he feels as if he's struggling a little bit to get the old force out there.
Yeah,
he's suffering from a little bit. He needs some Lemsip.
Other
cough products are also available.
Do you want to name some of them?
I can't think of any off the top of my head.
You. Well, you come out with this rubbish.
Vicks.
Back it up.
You can always go with Vicks. A bit of Benylin.
Okay.
You know, I don't know.
Cavonia, Bells.
We're now turned into.
And welcome to your number one cough medicine podcast.
Pharmacy podcast. Yeah. Okay. Right. The Melster. Back to him. Do you remember? It says the comic book hero is the special one. That's the headline. Like say headline, does Trevor.
Hmm.
He says UK's #1 football comic podcast and sometimes pharmaceutical podcast rolled back the years to take a close look at the colossal editorial influence of comic book hero Barry Tomlinson on the popular holiday special issues. The last time Big Bar, as he's affectionately referred to by artist David Skew, visited Champ Towers was for episode 95, a Christmas special in which he memorably donned a seasonal Santa Claus outfit together with a long white beard. However, the doyen of British comics clearly meant business on this occasion, as he declared early doors that he decided against wearing a swimsuit for this summer special. Yeah, I think we're all quite pleased about that, really. Shame, presumably it would have been a cosy that perhaps Johnny Cougar's beatnik buddy Splash Galton might have once sported.
Oh, nice.
Surprisingly, perhaps this special episode wasn't total football. Instead, it was very much an all sports affair. Indeed, Mute Button Matt got proceedings underway by quizzing Barry on the comprehensive Tiger Olympic special for 1976. And as the team further explored the Montreal Olympics companion with the comic book hero, Bygone Berrigan, and the tangential one's figure skating knowledge was seriously put to test. Whilst Bygone thought a photograph of British ice skater John Curry showed him performing a twirl, presumably not the well-known chocolate bar,
Oh, very good.
Tangent was of the firm belief that he was attempting a triple Salchow, and he spelt Salchow Salchow. So that's the way you spell Salchow.
How you spell Falcon? I
There
mean,
you go.
who would argue with Muster himself?
You'd be a brave person.
Exactly.
Either way, as the greatest picture story editor of all time quit, Curry was hot stuff.
Hey, very good.
He hasn't lost it, has he?
No.
Roy Race's best friend then exclusively revealed how a rendezvous with Sir Geoffrey Boycott, former Melchester Rovers chairman, led to a chance meeting with Middlesex and England cricketer Phil Edmonds. The serendipitous encounter resulted in Big Bar editing the Spin Bowlers Benefit Year booklet, Phil Edmonds' Spotlight on Sport. The 1983 special, which was given away free with every IPC comic of the day, proved to be a very big hit. Mute Button Matt, Tangent Paul, and Bygone Berrigan then asked questions of the Tiger Holiday Special for 1979. Barry, who still has the eye of the Tiger, rocked the team with some remarkable revelations, including how he managed to persuade British Airways to let him fly free of charge to Australia for a cricket feature and new magazine he had planned. How's that, Aussie Lee Coulson? Good.
Hey.
Although there was a brief mention of Best of Billy Boots holiday special for 1990, the team talk really turned to football when the holiday special specialist, Bygone Berrigan, expertly led the line and took us through the Roy the Rovers holiday special for 1980. Once again, Jet Set Barry was at the top of his game and generously shared his recollections of everything from receiving a canteen of cutlery every Christmas from cartoonist Ian Scott to David Skew's 101 excuses for delivering his artwork late. Talk about the beautiful game. This was the beautiful podcast, lads.
Oh.
And he said, Barry Thompson isn't just one of the bottle, he really is the special one. Brilliant stuff.
Fantastic.
Superb. So thank you very much, Trevor. Richard Woods, friend of the show, said, good show, guys. Always good to hear from Barry. Great memories and nice to hear the artists getting recognition again. Yeah, we always try that, don't we, guys? We try to the author or the artist, give them credit when we do know who they are. I think that's really important. Then feedback from the Champ We Are United and Football Picture Story Monthly Facebook sites. We have comment from friend of the show, Daniel Tyson, from the Short podcast. Said, excellent episode, guys. So thank you very much, Daniel. And also we have something from
Prince talking. His feedback is nothing to be scared of.
Well, quite a dramatic flourish at the end there, really, wasn't it? Really unnecessary, many people say.
No comment. No comment.
Yeah. But so from George Prince, a US friend of the show, says, great to hear Barry's memories of his time at Tiger and Roy the Rovers. He has such fond memories. It's a joy to hear them. Yeah, you're right, George. Look forward to hearing from him on another episode. Thanks again. Yeah, and we definitely always have plans to get Barry on again. And finally, we have on YouTube, well, almost finally,
feedback from a land down under.
Hey.
There you go. Getting quite good at this now. And it's from Lee Coulson, obviously, Aussie Lee. A special episode indeed, and great to Barry. Got to have Barry back, sharing more memories and stories from the many different special issues he edited over the years. I can't remember seeing these specials in Australia, unfortunately, which is interesting, isn't it? Yeah. He said maybe because of the seasonal differences. I guess that makes sense, though, doesn't it? Really. Um, but I enjoyed hearing how Barry wrangled a trip down under to try to launch a
Yes.
cricket magazine. Yeah. It's a shame this didn't happen, but Roy and Tiger were certainly always popular in Australia, albeit being a bit behind the UK readers. Hopefully, Barry can return for future episodes. Always a joy to get your insights into the comics which helped define our childhoods. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot, Lee. And final word goes to a great friend of the show, Nikos. He says, great. So thank you very much, Nikos. So that's it. That's the end of the feedback. So thank you very much, everybody. Like we always say, really appreciate all your comments and your feedback. It's great to hear. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Mr. Paul Tangent Richardson, who's going to talk us through the next episode of We Are United. Over to you, Mr. Tangent.
Thanks, mute button. You might need that. More practice on the old button yourself.
Oh,
What's coming up, but we shall see.
God, that's not very nice. A bit harsh, isn't it? There's no need for that.
He says biding time because I'm not as well rehearsed for this edition as I have in previous ones. But
Okay,
here we go.
Can I just stop you there then? So
Yeah.
if anybody wants to give some feedback on this particular section, then it's welcomed.
It's more than welcome. Please do. Please do. So it is episode 9 of the We Are United story from the Champ comic, and it's dated April the 21st, 1984. But if you remember, before I start, we left the previous issue 8, when United were going to be preparing for an FA Cup semi-final. And remember, Joe Pearson had said that the team were going down to the coast for some training, and then they would be travelling on, Friday the 13th. Tug Wilson, of course, raised some concerns. As you can imagine, as seasoned comic book readers, I think we all realised something was going to happen. Well, when we got to the newsagents and saw the cover of Champ, we knew something had happened. It's a dramatic cover with a headline, Champ Heroes in Crash Drama, and an amazing graphic picture there of a train crash. And we see desperate race to free victims, big names among casualties. Read all about it inside. Hurriedly, we move the cover of the comic, but what we're confronted with is actually a lovely picture of the United team ready for their FA Cup semi-final, United versus Manchester. I'm not going to go into the lineup there, but it's a great team photo.
It is, isn't it? It's brilliantly drawn by Peter Foster. Absolutely loved his work.
Yeah, and as we've almost, I like to mention, we've then got the feature on United semi-final opponents, Manchester City. We're told that Manchester are second in the first division, just 4 points behind the mighty Southport. And we are informed about Peter Watson, who's the club captain and England centre-back. Midfield free scoring dynamo Gordon Clark, and Manchester also having the expensive signing Steve Francis, who was purchased for 1.36 million back in '79. But onto the story, we see the United players out for a jog, and there's a great piece of artwork. Fred Rimmy's a bit like Luscious Locks Ridders. His locks blowing in the wind as they go for the jog. We see them jogging through town. But then Joe Pearson's got the team onto the pitch, and they're practicing some free kicks, and we see Hedgehog Jones slide the ball to the side, and Duncan Fraser though steps over the ball, and Josh tees onto it like a flash, and he drills it into the bottom corner. And we keep on seeing United practicing that free kick. After that in hotel though, we see Terry Evans demanding to speak to Joe Pearson, and he sits down and he says to Joe, we really my contract's up in June, he said, and he'd be looking for a lot more money. If United put me up for transfer, there'll be a big fee, and I'm worth it, so I want a bigger wage. Joe agrees with Terry and says that he'll recommend it to the board. just before really the conversation can finish, there's a concierge from the hotel saying that there's a phone call for Joe, and of course a sign of the times, obviously a phone call, no mobile phones back in these days, and we see Joe in actually one of the old phone booths, and it's Sid Collins of the Echo newspaper man, and he's informing Joe that apparently it's all over the press and it's widely known that Joe is going to be replaced as manager. Joe says that it's all news to him, and Sid says, well, we'll discuss it. I'm down, and I hope the rumours are not true when I get down to Brightsea, and because he'll be taking photos for the semi-final. I'm assuming the photo that we've already seen on page 1 of the fantastic team. There's no rest for Joe. He's barely out of the phone booth, and Bill Shenton's there. Oi, boss, I want a word with you.
He's
Terry
pointing
Evans,
his finger. He's pointing his
yeah,
finger.
he's got his, Shenton's becoming quite a regular, and this is becoming a theme for those of you, obviously that remember and been listening to these. And it's like, I hear that Terry Evans has been on to ask about a higher wage. If you raise that kid's money, you raise mine as well. And he goes off on one, but I just then cut of Joe, and he just said, what happens if there isn't any money available, Bill? And then Bill just says, I go somewhere else, somewhere where I'll get more money. I've had plenty of offers, Joe now stern-faced. I think he's had enough of it, to be honest. If you want to leave United, go right ahead and leave. Don't keep threatening me, Bill. I'm fed up listening to you. And again, there's a great bit of artwork because obviously you've got the speech bubbles, but you can see Bill's sort of stood back and has been a bit aghast at what Joe said to him. We see then Joe thinking to himself in his bedroom. He's a bit hard on Bill, but he asked for it. I must be a little bit uptight. He must be a little bit uptight like the rest of us with the semi-final just a few days away. Still, if we win the cup, it will make up for everything, even missing out on promotion. So Joe's obviously nervous about promotion. There's more free kick practice back on the training ground. And
Josh must be pretty good by now. How many shots has he had? He's loads.
Yeah, he's had a fair few, in all fairness. Who knows what might be happening. And of course, in goal is actually John Clement. And of course, Bill Shenton makes mention, John turned up to take my place. And don't be daft, Bill. You're the first team keepers. John's not a patch on you, and you know it. Go and show him how it's done. And obviously we see Shenton, then he's facing a couple of shots, and there's some great shots. But once again, Josh Cupperty's in like a flash, firing it in. And of course, Bill, the customary, having a go again. I've told you before, don't hammer the ball at me, okay? If you remember a few editions back, and Joe obviously telling Bill that he'd gone for it. Right, lads, Sid Collins, the reporter, turns up. Joe gets the lads, of course, they're going to do the team photo, and he asks Sid if he's heard any more about United getting a new manager, and Sid says he's asked around and it seemed to come from your boardroom. Peter Malcolm has parted company with Westfield City and he's won 2 league titles in the FA Cup. He knows the business. Meaning I don't know the business. I didn't say that, Joe, but you've got to admit it. Peter Malcolm has got a good record and he'll be looking for another club. If you remember, we did mention, I think it was Larry Watson was injured and he overheard, remember, an agent, a bit of a dodgy agent, was kind of touting around a big name manager that would become available. So that backstory's developed a little bit there. Yeah. So that's it. Then the team line up for the photo, but of course, just as thankfully, I think the photo's taken, but the rain's coming down. The players get off, obviously, back to the hotel. They're leaving the hotel and they're leaving Brightsea, obviously, to Sheffield for the semi-final. And we see the players bored, and there's some fans there, the usual, oh, United for the cup. And then we can see the intercity train leaving for Sheffield.
British Rail.
Yeah, around about 9 o'clock, when we see the guys on the train, a little bit of banter, and we've got Tug. Heck, Tug, cheer up, looking at the weather isn't going to change it. And then Fred Remy, Tug's all right, Bill. He's just about to give us a song, aren't you, Tug, me old mate? Oh no, we'll get thrown off the train for disturbing the peace. Well, I think that's Larry Watson saying there. And as the train hurtled through the night, danger up ahead. And we've seen what, I mean, I think looks like some debris on the train tracks there. And disaster was about to strike. A landslide. That's it. With the rain, there's a landslide, brought debris sliding on top of the track just as the high-speed train comes. And then that's it. Bang, at 90 mile an hour, the trains hit the debris. And well, I tell you what, the artwork's amazing, but it really is
Right.
atmospheric as well. You know, the darkness there,
Yeah.
and now we kind of get people at home. We see people at home getting the news broken that there's a news flash. A high-speed train from Brightsea to Sheffield has been derailed. Reports of heavy casualties are coming in. And of course, we see concerned supporters listening to their transistor radios and televisions. Players of United FC are reported to be among the many injured. And we just see, as I say, this really atmospheric drawing. And there's a police car, and we can see the damage of the wreckage and the crash scene. And that somebody asking, are all the players accounted? Sorry, it's Joe Pearson. Are all the players accounted for, Andy? There's only Willie Barnes still in there. They're freeing him now, Joe. Look at that. Those United players could have been away and safely tucked up in bed, but they've stayed to help the United players. We see Willie Barnes on a stretcher. I'm all right, boss. How are the rest of the lads? They're all fine, Willie. Don't you worry about them. And then in the hospital, the doctor's giving Joe Pearson the news. Fred Rimmy's got a head injury. Doesn't seem too serious, but we're keeping him in for observation. Benny Granger and Terry Evans are both unconscious, but they're not in danger. What about the rest of my team? Just minor cuts and bruises and shock, of course. They can leave as soon as they feel well enough. You'd better get some rest yourself, Mr. Pearson. We see Joe, he's got a headband on as well, and there's a cut to his forehead. He says he will, Doc, as soon as I let the United directors know what's going on. And there's a phone call. There are 4 players still in hospital. We'll have to ask the FA for a postponement. The chairman, no, I'm sorry, Joe, we can't do that. We need the money from tomorrow's game to pay off our loan instalment to the bank. If we don't play, we're finished. I mean, a real insight there. We knew things at United were difficult, but I mean, to the point where the club can't even afford a postponement of the FA Cup semi-final. And we see then Joe looking quite shocked, and almost, the bandage on his head there. And they're going to send 5 reserves. How can the directors possibly expect us to win with a scratch team? It's just not fair on the lads. And that is where we leave the first. Remember, it's always in 2 installments. And of course, we get the headline, as we always do: a scratch team, top class opposition. Everything seems to be stacked against us, but we are united and we're never beaten. Turn to page 25 for some dramatic FA Cup action. Well, it must admit, it does all seem to be going against United. And of course now, and I love this, at the top of the banner as I quickly thumb through my edition of Champ to page 25. And it's Saturday, April the 14th, United versus Manchester City at Hillsborough. And we can see the fans outside, and obviously they're wondering what team that United will be put out. And as we sort of thought, I think that's actually, then shows the next panel. The fans are inside the ground, and of course we've got the Tannoy announcement, and the United team was read out: Shenton, Stokes, Pearson. Joe Pearson's put himself in. Stevens and Wilson, Frazier, Green and Jones, Clark, James and T, substitute Slade. And a bit like me, we see a fan exclaiming that Joe Pearson's in the team. Joe's, just before the team go out, as a final word, I've only got one thing to say to you, lads. Go out and enjoy it. And remember, United are never beaten. And the team come out to rapturous applause and chants of United. And then we see Joe in the centre circle against the Manchester captain and the England captain. There, I've forgotten his name. It's bad of me, isn't it? Peter Watson. How dare I forget the England centre back? And he says, best of luck, Joe. The lads said to say how sorry they were, and Joe says, thanks, Pete, best of luck. So that's nice there from the Manchester captain. But of course, this is an FA Cup semi-final, and Manchester, one of the biggest clubs in England, as I say, fighting for the title and on for a potential double. They're straight into the action, and what a shot! It's cannons off Shenton's crossbar there. I mean, Shenton doesn't even see it, to be quite honest. And Manchester they're straight in again, and it's fired in. This time Joe Pearson, even with his blood-stained headband, heading off the line. And another shot's coming. Shenton, a brilliant save down to his left low. I tell you what, though, Manchester aren't here to take any prisoners. They want a day trip and a final at Wembley. And it's just come now before half time. Gordon gets put, it's knocked down to Gordon. And it's a goal. Oh, a fantastic goal
It was
from the
great
free
finish.
scoring Gordon Clark. What a player this guy is for Manchester. It's 1-0, and that's it at half time. Really, in truth, Manchester haven't given United a chance to breathe. They know that this is not a full strength United, and they are not going to let them get a foothold into this game. So the United players head to the tunnel, and Joe's there with them. And everybody out there wants us to win. We ain't beaten yet, boss. The players are saying, you're right, lads. And the players in hospital are relying on us to get them through to the final. Let's go out and do it. So we're back into the action and straight away on the attack. Alex Hedgehog Jones to new boy, Frank James. And Frank James, he takes his fires in. Oh, unlucky. I think he had the keeper beaten there, but it's just gone wide. And then we see, thankfully, Benny Granger and Terry Evans have regained consciousness on their hospital beds there. And of course, Terry Evans always on the side of his fellow teammates. What's Frank playing at? He should have scored there. Relax, Terry. There's plenty of time.
You only listen to it. How can you tell?
That's Terry Evans all over.
Terry Evans.
Doesn't matter where it was.
Typical Evans.
He's convinced he would have scored, wouldn't he?
Wouldn't have been live on telly in those days either.
No, that's right.
Absolutely,
We're back in 1984. Remember this semi-final? Relax, Terry. There's plenty of times. The lads will do it. I know they will. There's the optimistic Benny Granger. But United are getting back into this game. They're giving everything they've got. And Duncan Fraser, what a powerhouse! What a great from the youth ranks. He's moving through, holding off challenges there. It's to Josh T. Josh T sends it over. Oh, unlucky, and it's a great save there for Frank James. Joe Pearson's running up for it, and he's got to the rebound. He's headed it. Oh, it's cleared off the line by a defender. And I think that's the England captain there. Joe Pearson's feeling that now. United still on the attack. The ball's now with Alex Hedgehog Jones. He's dribbling through in that style that we've come to recognise. He's got the ball out to Josh T again. Oh, crikey. I tell you what, I'm getting fed up of saying this season. Josh Cup of Tea is definitely the opponents that do not like the pace and the skill of this player. Smack straight into the back of him. A hefty challenge. Is a free kick to United. They just don't let T settle on the ball. He's such a threat. The United players now there, well, they've been practicing this. Alex to Duncan. He says, are you ready, Dunk? No problem, Alex. Just like the boss told us. And there's that free kick. And he slides it. And Duncan steps over. So, go! Team's equalised. United have done it. They've pulled this back. It's a brilliant goal. The crowd are going mental. And I can tell you, we cut to a scene in the hospital. And Terry Evans and Benny Granger are celebrating as well. I tell you something, there's not much more action left in this match, and United have pulled it off. They have got a replay, a 1-1 draw. We see the final whistle blow, and the United players come off. Andy Bates, tremendous display, boss, tremendous. They gave everything, Andy. But what did you expect? They are United players. Unbelievable culmination to the match. Fantastic performance from United, and we're then greeted with the headlines at the end. Well, Pearson's heroes did it, lads, but they've got it all to do again next week when we take on Manchester City in the replay. Book your stand seat by ordering Champ from your news agents now.
Wow.
Oh,
That's incredible.
Wow. Brilliant performance.
Have you got a drink there, Paul?
I have.
Yeah.
Well, funnily enough, look at that. I've got a bottle of cherry Coke, and on it says "My God," and I think, oh, my God, what an equaliser, and I need that. Brilliant performance by United there, and well, we look forward to the replay in what will be issue 10.
Brilliant performance by you as well, Paul. Fantastic stuff. My only bugbear, not with you now, with the storyline or here, is that it should have been in Middlesbrough in Shefton, maybe.
Yes.
Hillsborough in Sheffield.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. It is amazing, and I'm the same, and it is brilliant. But at times when they mix the fiction and fact with it, but I agree with you. Actually, that would have been a much better place for the semi-final.
Yeah, definitely.
Well done.
Be interesting to see where the replay will be. Actually, will that be at Hillsborough as well? But I
think it was.
Hopefully, they won't go by train.
I don't think so. I don't think they'll be going by train again. Well, it won't be Friday the 13th, though. Remember, Neil. So it'll be safe this time.
So nothing to go wrong. Things only go wrong on Friday the 13th, don't they? Really?
Of course.
Brilliant.
Well, that was great. Yeah, thank you very much, Paul. Yeah, so you got another 2 weeks for your voice to come back,
Back and
um,
yep.
and then take us through week 10. Superb. Right. Okay. Right. Well, hold on a second because I'm just going to play something first before we move on to
Okay.
the next section.
Golden Ian, back on the show. Listen up for all that he knows. 76, 77, we'll all be in seventh heaven. So let's start Geronimo. Well, that was rubbish, wasn't it?
Do you know what? It's almost
Thank
like
you.
he makes it up as he's singing it. Do you know that?
You wouldn't think that
What
at
makes you
all,
think?
would you?
What makes you? What makes you think that? That's a slur on his character.
Yes.
Which is
Yeah,
good. Keep slurring away, as I say.
exactly. I tell you
Anyway,
what, if I was praising him, he'd be wondering what was going on. So
he would. Brilliant. Look, okay. Well, you've heard from the Popova himself. Over to you, Mr. Golden.
Thanks very much. Yeah, I've come on for the first of what I think will be 17 parts. So however long this will take, the 17 years of
Hold on.
Roy
So
the
that means we need
Rovers.
to we need to be going for at least another 17 episodes.
You need to hire me back for my zero pay. Yes.
Yeah, that's what we
For,
like. Yeah,
for
gig
Nah.
economy.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. No, a couple of months ago now, this is where insomnia really benefits at times. And I wake up, if I go to sleep at 10:30, 11 o'clock during the summer, I'll wake up anytime between about 4:30 and 6. And the first thing I do, instead of in the old days, like people would pick up a cigarette, I pick up my phone and look up Facebook. And what pops up? Someone is selling a full collection of Roy of the Rovers for an incredibly cheap price.
Mm.
That plus all the annuals as well. So I'm straight on to him. I'm sending you a message now because I'm going to regret this if I don't get it. Uh, so yeah, obviously it went through. I drove down to Devon from me. It was a 2 hour journey to pick up the comics. In fact, I was there after I dropped my kids in school, and I was back at home dropping them off before I actually picked them up again. So
Wow.
it really was job well done. It was a nice day, nice drive, and so yeah, that's what. Well, I got to start reading them all now. But well, no, first also I got to start kind of binding them all and that kind of thing. So as you can see from the picture behind me, I've already started putting loads of them in ring binders. Because would you believe, right up until 1985, they were already put into
Oh
polly
wow.
pockets. In fact, if I go this side, you can see a
Mm.
bit behind me is ones that I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah.
bound and put in
Mm.
Polly Pockets for those
Mm.
watching
Yeah.
on the YouTube. And there's some here that haven't been put in on this side. So I'm going to aiming to do that for as time goes by. And so it's been taking me about 10 days to read half a year's worth. So that's
Ian,
the
do
way
you
to
do you
go.
mind? Sorry to interrupt. Do
That's
you
all
know
right.
why was the guy selling them? Because I mean, clearly he was a proper collector to have
Uh,
them all, and then he's put them into
yeah.
binders as well.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I put them in binders. He had them
Oh,
all.
sorry, sorry.
He had them all in the Polly Pockets.
Right,
So it was due to space, really.
right, okay.
He had a new partner moving in, I think, and
Oh,
so
okay. Say no
he had a
more.
small house.
We can't go back.
Yes.
I got
But
heavily criticised for
yeah.
Paul's
But
advice.
I think the good thing was he actually put it online in the middle of the night, and we have the World Club Cup to thank for that
Right, yeah.
because he put it online onto the Roy the Rovers Facebook site at like 1 in the morning
Okay.
when he was watching Chelsea or someone like that
Yeah.
from
Right.
LA.
Okay.
So and I picked that up in the morning. But so I want
Okay.
to.
Sorry. Go on.
I'm going to talk. That's all right. Don't worry. I'm going to talk about 1 year at a time. I'm going to go through each story just incredibly briefly about what happens, and a few other little trinkets as well. But I'm going to do it in order of how I like them. So from like to dislike, if you see what I mean. I'm not
Oh,
going to go
okay. Yeah.
8 to 1. I'm going
Yeah.
to go from 1 to 8. Bit more friendly. So I'm going to continue and do some screen sharing now. So if you just hold on a moment while my fingers
Yeah.
slip on here and I can get to the right button and I can share my screen for those who are seeing it. I'm going to then start a slideshow and hopefully this should now work. Great. So here we go. Roy the Rovers comic. I've got, for those seeing on screen now, I've got the cover of the very first comic. Not just a cover, the cover I actually now own, that someone has written issue one on there. Now, this wasn't collected, I think, but this definitely wasn't collected by the one person right from the beginning, by the way, because there's lots of different people who have written inside at times in You Are the Star or in things to
Mm.
fill in, that kind
Yeah,
of thing. There's the odd post, most of it is intact. There's the odd poster missing, but not many. I think I've noticed about three missing in the first 3 years.
wow.
So it's not too bad. To be there. So this is review part one of 33, season one, part one, the 1976 to 77 season, issues 1 to 24. I've split them all up into seasons. For me, a season starts when Melchester Rovers play their first league game.
Mhm.
So that's how I start a season. So this is now dated 25th of September 1976 to 5th of March 1977. It comes out every Monday. So as it says on the cover of this issue, the issues have 8 super picture stories, or comic strips as we like to call them, all serialized. All the stories started in issue 1 and continued in every issue, apart from Millionaire Villa that didn't appear in one of the issues. So their Christmas special was 1 week late. Issue 1 had an introduction from His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh, which is
Mhm.
brilliant. Well done to the guys for sorting that. And in the Christmas issue, an article by Eric Morecambe. I also believe Tiger had Ernie Wise that week. So if you got them both, you had Morecambe and Wise. Most issues have sign please, posted with an autograph of a real life footballer. Most of the time, anyway, I think Roy slipped in at times. And Roy's talking, which had letters from readers. There was a chart each week where you could record your team's data for one of the games that week, and a few other special features, photos, and football funnies. Oh, and I've just gone too far and back again. Okay. So my favorite in this one was Roy of the Rovers, the main strip, which starts at the comic at a good point. It's been a great start to the 1976 to 77 season, which is a few weeks in. First Division Melchester Rovers are unbeaten after winning their first 2 games, both away from home. And there's a goal rush offering £30,000 for anyone who scores 50 goals that season. Seeing as
Yeah,
few people
amazing.
have ever, no one's really done that. The money's
No.
safe, right? Well, there's a reporter or hack that believes Roy Race, the Melchester Rovers player, manager, and captain, is that selfish? He's out for himself, and rather than the expectations of the side. Roy's also got to deal with new signing Roger Dixon, who's nicknamed Super Sub. If he'd been given ginger hair, he'd have been based on David Fairclough. Through the first 24 issues, we learned that Penny, Roy's wife, is pregnant. Rovers are still on course for the title. They're battling to stay in the League Cup. They're unbeaten in the league. All in, it's a solid start to this, the main strip. The only one drawn in colour in this issue by the brilliant David Squee. All very enjoyable. Roy's age, I believe, is 37 at the time.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Well,
Just
yeah.
looking at the front page, and the front page artist is not David Skew, though, is it? It's somebody else on on the cut.
I think it
Front
might
page.
be. If I go
Do you
back
think so?
again.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think
see
it
what you're
might. Well,
saying.
it could be. It could be. It looks more comic-y, doesn't it? If you
yeah.
see
It doesn't
it.
look like it looks like Millionaire Villa artist
Yeah,
more than
yeah. I'm going to go
David
into that.
Skew.
I think that's one of the answers I was going to go into in a bit, to be honest. But no, you're right. My
So
second favorite for
Good
these
point.
20 for this half year, probably played partially for laughs, is the Hard Man. It's a great contrast to the main Roy of the Rovers strip. Whilst Roy Race is your good guy centre forward who scores lots of goals, Johnny Dexter, the Hard Man, is a tough defender in the style of people like Norman Hunter. When we come into the strip, his club Danefield United are struggling, and he's also struggling personally with his temper on and off the field, which constantly gets him into trouble. I'm trying to work out his age here. As mentioned, by the way, he's a former England player, so he's had some experience. He was made captain of Danefield during these first few issues, so I'm reckoning about 23 or 24 years old. I don't think he's much more than his
Yeah.
early mid 20s. It's great artwork. I don't know who the artist is, but for me, it looks very similar to Billy the Fish at the time from Viz.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look. I
I
mean, I know
don't think this
obviously
is Doug
Doug
Maxted.
Maxted. No,
Don't
It's
think it's
not.
Doug
No,
Maxted to start with. No.
no. And
I,
I like
and
this one.
and I think it's quite common the first week. Then I'd have some sort of because they might have done some sort of draft of the story that you'd have a different artist. I know many times. I think Bobby of the Blues. I think started off
Okay.
as one artist and then became another one as well, and quite a few
Yeah.
do that. Football
You
Fan
I
know the
Bros
think
that
all,
first
did
one
that.
though. You
Sorry.
know the third panel.
Yeah,
You know where that fella's number 7 upside down.
Mm.
That
yeah,
could be like out of a Hot Shot Hamish and Mighty Mouse.
absolutely. Yeah, the way that
Mm.
The
the
way that
That's,
he
you know what?
comic
That's a good shout. I think
the
it is.
the lines where
you
it shows
feel
him
like
falling, where it shows the action. Yes, for
And
those
you look at the
watching on
crowd, the
YouTube.
bottom left as well. That looks like
yeah.
Yeah,
a Mighty
I,
Mouse,
It
or that looks
does.
like a
it
Schiaffino.
does. I was
It
going to
could
say the
it
only
could
thing
well
is
be.
Shafino always managed to get his signature in. That's the only
He
thing.
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
always. He
He
didn't
did.
always.
He
Where?
did.
You know what? I'm gonna.
In a
You need to
panel.
have evidence that.
Well, when Ian's
Well,
finished, I should get all my Royal
yeah,
Rovers
yeah,
off the
yeah.
shelf and show you.
Definitely. As this first volume ends, Danefield have just been knocked out the FA Cup. They've got a relegation battle as they're 2 points adrift at the bottom of the league. 2 points for a win in those days, of course.
Yeah.
So my next down is Tommy's Troubles.
Mm.
Tommy Barnes, aged about 13 or 14, isn't very good at schoolwork, but he is good at football. Ginger Collins can't play football that well, but he's generally good in the classroom, or genius in the classroom. It's a good story, great concept. They help each other. Tommy isn't just good at football, though. He's very good. He's close to being an England schoolboys international, something he achieved in this first volume of stories. However, a new school opens in the area, and it's a posh rugger school where the snooty rugger kids are joined by the common soccer lads. Tommy and Ginger need a football team to play for. They don't want to play the 15-a-side game, which was mainly, as I say, for amateurs and posh people in England back in the 1970s. So they
Yeah.
form a side. They train the lads well. They're mainly accepted by the head, but the school's rugger team captain, Adam Waller, and his mate, Cyril Snade, I'm sure it's Swate, but anyway, are
I
out.
said, do you know what? I'm pleased you said that,
I think
Ian,
it's
because I was
Sway.
going to say to you,
Holland
I thought
Sway,
it was
yeah.
Swate
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it was Snade initially, but I
I
might
think,
be
That's
well,
what's
wrong.
you're
interesting.
probably
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a great class story in the middle story of the middle class rugby
It
union.
really is.
It's the working
Yeah.
class association football. Now Tommy can overcome this, I'm sure, but when we leave the story on this volume, Ian Ginger have been sent to the wrong ground by Waller and Slade. They've sussed, they've returned, but they're 3-0 down. All mildly amusing stuff, perhaps something kids could relate to at the time in a way, but I'm looking forward to, he says tongue in cheek, see if these lads age at all or do anything special with their lives.
Yes, indeed.
Next one is Mike's Mini Men. Now, this
Ah,
is one of the strips I've read a lot. I actually thought I'd read it in its entirety, but I realized I hadn't. It got reprinted year by year in the Roy of the Rovers annuals, but it didn't do it
mm,
all.
mm.
It's a story I always loved. It got me into buying Sabutio this.
Mm.
And it even got me trying to set up my own league in lunchtimes in school,
Oh,
like
really?
mine. Yeah, I don't think it lasted long, but we did. I had at least 8 teams, including Liverpool home and away. The away one was my side, but I just called United. But that's another universe. The yellow with red pinstripe away kit. So Mike, aged 11, we know he's aged 11. We'll get that very soon. Is given a Sabutio set. The name Sabutio's never mentioned for Christmas. He joins a league, becomes fairly good, but they're jealous bullies who want to beat him up. He doesn't throw games, etc. Now Mike's a pretty good real footballer as well. We soon see him in school playing and doing well. And halfway through the volume, Mike's parents tell him he's going to boarding school, not next term, but now. I don't know what he's done to annoy them, but perhaps the story. Excuse me, just taking a drink there. Perhaps the story wasn't popular. It needed a bit of a change. So he has to cope with 3 miles runs each morning, the usual bullies, old-fashioned fagging. And if he doesn't beat Davis, the prefect, the table football could be banned. Quite the cliffhanger for this first volume. Well, it's all good fun.
That was quite common, I think, when you look back in all the stories about, like, Billy Dane moved a few times, didn't he, with his gran?
Oh, yes, did he? Yeah,
It's quite a normal kind of story
it keeps it going.
line. Yeah, it does.
I
Yeah,
just
changes
want
things.
to. Sorry, and I think I have mentioned this to the guys, but I just got off my shelf because I never realised this. I haven't even read this properly, but in Scoop Annual 1981, there's a story called Tommy's Tiny Team.
Oh, okay.
And it is again Sabutio, but again, like you said there, no mention. Again,
Oh,
it's the final of the British section of the World Table Soccer Tournament. But I never realised that there had been another kind of
Oh,
Sabutio-based
I've never heard
strip.
of
no,
that. No, no.
Yeah.
I
So,
suppose
but
it's a
that's
concept, isn't it, that people
in
do.
Scoop, Tommy's Tiny Team. So sorry, Ian, but
Yeah.
I just
No, it's
always
all right.
when
No, brilliant.
mentioning
No,
with Mike's Minis Men.
excuse me. Next one I've got is You Are the Star, a clever idea where a reader fill in his or her name into the blank spaces in the strip and pretends it's all about them. As
Yeah.
ideas go, it's unique, and I don't think it's been done before or since. The
No.
storyline itself is ordinary, unfortunately, where you are the star.
Yeah.
In the side, you even play for your international side. Nicely named with a blank kit and no badge, so kids could go to town with that one. Although I did notice the word England crop up once in a newspaper, so there's naughty there.
It doesn't really help you. Our Welsh friends, does
No,
it
it
really,
doesn't.
Ian?
It
Or
doesn't. That was
Scottish
only the
friends?
once. They
Exactly.
only mucked up once, I gotta say. You live in lodgings, have teammates you socialize with outside work, have some jealous teammates who want to pitch your place. As I say, it's ordinary, but it does the job it's created for, I think.
Mm.
I got to, you know what? Can I just say, I came across this story first in one of the summer specials,
Yeah.
and I just, you're saying it's ordinary, and Matt's nodding away with you. But to this day, I loved banging in the goals for Brentford Albion, and I still consider Peter Wakely a very good friend of myself.
Oh,
So
well, that's
anyway,
good. I'm glad the
you know,
alumni has really, kept in
yeah,
touch.
yeah, I loved that story.
Yeah. My next one down is the football. Now, I might be
Uh,
enjoying this one more if I was a kid again. Two
Yeah.
lads find a football that's lost from a first division club after it's hacked over the main stand, and adventures ensue. They foil robberies, they play in matches using the ball, and they even appear on TV with the ball. However, as the main star of the show is a football, the lads' characters aren't that memorable, and even while writing this, I couldn't remember their names. The big plus was the DEI in the story, where one lad was black and another was white, and even a girl comes into the story later on. So
ah,
full marks to them for that, especially in 1976.
mm,
The volume finishes after a few close shaves. The lads lose the football for good, and it moves on to a new owner. So we'll see what happens next in a few minutes' time.
yeah.
Next one, Millionaire Villa. David Bradley invests 2 million quid, a lot for 1976, into his local first division club on the proviso he's selected as centre forward each week. However, he can't even kick a ball properly. Despite that, he plays, he's even scoring lucky goals and a hat trick once at the first division, the top level. If he'd have said, oh, I've played a bit of Southern League in my time, it might have been closely believable, but despite the writer's best efforts, he's not really as rubbish as they make out. He's
Mm.
clumsy. He does break the new star player's leg in training, but he does try and do some good, even if a lot of the time it goes wrong, like stranding the side on a ship the evening before a game, and he's the only one not seasick when they take to the field. And he was meant to be helping them. The artwork changes part the way through, which gives it a darker, grittier look. The first volume ends where they have a new kit delivered, designed by David himself.
Yeah, this one I kind of. Yeah, so you're right. It was never nasty, was he? And
He
he
No.
wasn't,
didn't come with a
no,
calculator.
he
It's just
loved
just a bit of
it.
a fool. Just a bit of
Yeah.
That's
a.
right. He was
Yeah.
like an upper class millionaire fool, really. He was great
Yeah.
at business,
Yeah.
but probably not much else.
A-
Yeah.
And another story as well. I think the first time I'd read this was either in an annual or a summer special when it was a reprint. And of course, being naive at the time, I must admit, I just didn't never realised, like You Are the Star, that these had actually been former stories in the comic until I managed to get, my
Of
collection as well.
course, yeah. Well, so the first one I picked up was the 1982 summer
Mm,
special as well, and
mm.
I think it ended with Roy almost being kissed by Blackie Gray in a dream, and
Yeah.
I had no idea who Blackie Gray was or how special he was to the
Well,
show.
yeah. Well, it is funny how people get introduced to things. I mean, that is actually it wasn't in the 1982 annual, Paul. So maybe that's where.
Yeah, that's where I would
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
seen it.
The
Yeah,
story stopped in
yeah,
77.
yeah.
yeah.
That's where I
So
would have first seen it. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Finally, Smith and Son. I
Mm.
liked this at first, but I slowly went off it. Barry Smith takes over as manager at broke fourth division club Grandon Town and employs his 16-year-old son Danny as his assistant. They barely have 12 players, so Danny sometimes has to go in goal or come on a sub or something like that. The artwork's never the best. The kit looks like it's out the 1920s, and when it changes
It
artists at
doesn't.
times, it gets even worse. The idea is good. I just felt it dull. The first
It could.
volume ends, it was a new signing or a break-in or something. I didn't really care too much by that time. So
I
Logan,
fourth
yeah,
Sorry, go on.
division makes it feels it's almost could be like a Dole's Palace type thing, couldn't it? With the
yeah,
kind of
well,
sun as an angle, but it never gripped me really.
it
I've
didn't.
I've got to say sorry because I know that Ian, you're going on as
You
you're doing
carry
these
on.
in
Carry on,
sections,
Paul.
but Smith and Son was one of those. It's funny, in the letters pages because
Mhm.
obviously, and old Bygone there's got the background of Durrell's Palace, and
Yes.
so many readers actually used to write in and ask about Smith and Son, and some people would say, "Oh, Durrell's Palace is like the new version," and then years later, they did reprints, and I was like, "Oh, really interested." Oh, and I was so disappointed when I
Yeah.
first read Smith and Son.
Yeah.
I personally just couldn't see it as in that class as the Durrell's Palace story. But
No.
yeah,
As I say, I first started buying Roy the Rovers in 1983, even though I'm reading this as I'm pretending I've not seen it.
yeah, yeah.
And I loved Daryl's Palace and
Mm.
Wayne's World, the sequel as well. I think it was just as good, a good place to
Yeah, yeah.
play. But we'll get onto that in a few months' time.
Yeah,
I'm now
episode
going to.
15 or 14 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Oh God, sorry, Ian. I remember when I came on here and I did the Marx Brothers, and it was a four-parter, and the stick I got for that, I tell you.
Oh, no, that's great. Um, right, we're on to part two of 33, so we can get this as well. Season one, part two of the 1976 to 77 season, issues 25 to 47, dated 12th of March 1977 to 13th of August 1977. The reason I'm doing it in two parts, by the way, as I say, is because I do half a year in one ring binder, so I just review the whole binder, really.
Mm.
This is another good set of issues, 23 in total to round off the 1976 to 77 season, as well as the usual comic strips that features and colour photos. I did like the League Cup final, FA Cup final wall charts. The comic was unable to name the competing sides due to printing deadline, so they had pics from the previous year's finals, but
Mm.
great none the same. Also, I'm going to start a price guide.
Mm.
Issues 1 to 37 was 7 new pence, and then it went up a whole penny to 8p in issue 38. So issues 38 to 47 so far, 8 pence. My favourite of these lot was Tommy's Troubles.
Oh,
That was
okay.
number one for me in the second half of this season. Crowhurst School won the school's cup final, but it mattered little as their school, a rugger school, decided to stick with the 15-person game. So Tommy forms his own team, Barnes United. A bit egotistical, but that aside, it's a remarkable story. Especially the realism when the side are given rules and regulations of how a small club should be run, like providing a referee, which you do for
Yes.
junior leagues. I know that for junior rugby league that I helped to run in this area of South Wales. Hot water for baths afterwards, getting kits and posts, and it shows the struggles on passionate sports clubs starting. They do get some publicity. West Menton FC do their pre-season training at Barnes United's ground. That's a first division club, by the way. The coach is so impressed, they invite Tommy and Ginger to tour Austria with them. Safeguarding anyone?
Yeah, I know. I know.
Thank goodness it's mentioned by the manager. He's going to discuss it with the lads' parents first. I don't know if the lads had passports, but in those days you could get an emergency passport to Europe in a matter of
Yeah.
minutes by turning up at the right place. Now I did this in Jersey, or my dad did when we were in Jersey in 1983, I think it was. We decided to take the ferry over to France.
Oh,
It was
what's you've got your passport there?
it's that.
What?
Yeah, that's
Where do
it.
you get? Where do
That
you
was
get
the
that from?
little emergency passport that you
What
got from
crap?
the post office.
What crap have you got in your room?
That
It's
is
unbelievable.
amazing.
That's my first
Yeah.
ever passport, and it was an emergency holiday that I went
Oh,
on, and I had to get it from the post office, and I got it literally 2 days before I travelled.
Yeah, that's it.
He's not only collecting thousands of football comics. He's now collecting
That's
old
amazing.
passports as well. Is that a
That's
picture
Yeah.
of you with
amazing.
hair?
Yeah,
No. Oh my
that's my
God.
sixth form
It's like you've
photograph.
regenerated.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a,
Sorry, Ian.
don't
Sorry, not
worry.
to, just
They get to Austria. There's a
just to
fight.
prove that you were right. That was the whole point of that.
That's amazing. Well done. They get to Austria. There's a fire in the team hotel. Four of the players, sorry, are affected by the smoke, leaving West Menton 2 players short for their big tour game. Will these 15-year-old, perhaps, or 14-year-old lads be selected to a first division club's first team? We'll find out in the next set of
I think there were
stories.
12. I'm sure it says in first one. I think it says
Yeah,
Tommy
yeah,
Barnes is
it's
12.
quite, yeah,
Does
yeah,
it? Wow.
yeah.
So, well. Second, of course, Roy the Rovers. Rovers get knocked out of both cups from coming over from the previous issues, but they win the league. Logan
Yes.
Wallace wins the goal rush and
Yes.
£30,000 as a result. I'm going to be rich as he shouts as he hugs Roy. 40 years on, that amount will be earned in a day by a Premier League footballer.
Exactly.
Roy ends up with 49 goals, so that's 99 shared just by two people in League and Cup. How many did the rest score? And how many did they score in total that year?
Yeah.
Roy's wife Penny has twins, and they haven't named them by the time Roy sods off to the USA with Blackie Gray to help out an
It
American
was
side.
months, wasn't it, before they
Yeah.
were actually named, wasn't
It
it?
was, yeah. I'm sure Penny really appreciated this. There's a competition at the comic to name the twins, which is the reason why they weren't named for months.
Mm.
Roy and Blackie end up playing a bit of American football, and they return for the 1977 to 78 season. However, hooliganism in a pre-season friendly by Melchester fans is leaving Roy a bit worried at the start of the new campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So next down.
Sorry, just quickly,
Go
Lee,
on.
you
I
saying
like
about
I like your
you,
interruptions, Paul.
you
Carry
saying
on. It's
about
brilliant.
the money. I was listening to a real football podcast, and they're talking about
Sorry, real
Mitrovic.
football?
Yeah, I
Hold
know,
on a
I know.
second.
Well, very boring compared to the football that we cover.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
is it Alexander Mitrovic? He's in
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia, and his club have just given him 25 million to get off the books. And the reason being is because basically nobody can afford his wages. He was on 400 grand a week.
Oh wow. Oh my word. So yeah, I'm really
Not bad, is it?
underestimating on that 30
Yeah.
grand a day, aren't I? In the hard man in this set, Danefield United, despite Johnny Dexter's effort, actually get relegated to Division 2. So something bad actually happens to a team. On Johnny promises they get promoted again in 1977 to 78.
Yeah.
Now, Johnny, along with teammate Kevin Taylor, play for England on tour in South America during the summer. The countries they play aren't named for some reason. I guess it's in case actual countries took offence at the dirty tricks that the nasty South American
The
foreigners
shady,
talk like
greasy.
these.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the mustaches.
Mustachios. Yeah.
Yeah. Johnny and Kevin get food poisoning at the end of campaign, end of tour dinner, so they have to fly back on their own. No player welfare. Bye bye. And when they arrive back in England, they find that Danefield's manager Harry Tailford has been sacked, which isn't really a surprise that they've been relegated.
Yeah.
So it's all good fun. That's where it leaves us. It's a good serious undertone, and I don't think it's just being weakened at all.
I love this period of the hard man. I really do.
Yeah.
Like when Daneford go down and then he goes off to Riago and Parla. You know, no spoiler alert. And then like Victor comes in. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm enjoying reading those in recent weeks as well.
Yeah. Yeah. The story changes at that point, though, doesn't it? But yeah,
it does. It does. The tone changes a bit. I find there. Now, I'm not going to put the first page of a story here. I'm putting a front cover on, which
it's great, isn't it?
front cover I've got, because there's a new story called The Safest Hands in Soccer. And the front cover shows Gordon Stewart, the goalkeeper in action, being well tested by Roy himself. So it's two different panels drawn by two different people joined together. It's great. A great new soccer story starts today. Join Gordon and the stars of Tynefield for big soccer thrills in The Safest Hands in Soccer. So, issue 37, the comic ticks this penalty box. It's the story of youngster Gordon Stewart. Days before sub-keepers, he's played 56 consecutive games for Tynefield City reserves. Now he has his first team chance. By the time we wrap up season 1 of the comic 10 issues later, he's played a couple of games, met a woman, and even let to the terrace to sort out a couple of idiot fans. So, you know, he's got it all.
Wow.
He's got
strong start.
Yeah, and people thought Cantona was the first. I think young Gordon did it years before.
Yeah, I think Gordon even took him out and gave him to the cops. Cantona didn't. He was being escorted. More on this to follow in 1977 to 78.
Brilliant.
Next is the football. The story I felt was getting a lot better at this time. Now the football's got new owners. The new lad, Bob Richards, owns the football, and he's had a few battles with his brother over who plays with it. He's 12 years old here. Could he be Rob Richards?
Interesting. Oh, I like what he's done
your
there.
brother is it, Matt?
Might be.
No, they can't play football either. Not can I. But
The new owners thankfully play for a proper junior side, Tanfield Terriers. And when playing a match in a holiday camp, they
Oi.
also foil a robbery. This is real
Oh.
Tommy's Trouble stuff.
Hmm.
The story continues into the new season. Now, this is a story that could have lasted for some time, as it's possible to completely reboot every half year or so. I don't think it does last much longer than this, but it really had promise, this story, I felt. But it's just how well you do it and how well the readers receive it, I think. You Are the Star, if you notice. For
Brilliant.
those
Brilliant.
for watching YouTube, I've done a bit of jiggery pokery with Photoshop, and I haven't put this in the comic. This is just for YouTube. I've put
I,
myself on You Are the Star.
I'm shocked, to be quite honest, Ian, because I'm telling you,
That's
Paul
brilliant.
Richardson was the centre forward
Oh,
of Brentford Albion,
What?
not this
What?
imposter Ian Gordon. I have no idea how that picture got onto the banner of this story. I shall be writing to Barry as soon as this pod finishes.
you should, you should. It ends in issue 36, and it was a decent end. I did brilliantly. I led my team to winning the FA Cup, and I played for Wales along the way. Yay
Ah,
Yes.
me.
Yeah,
wow.
well
I
done.
Well, there you
don't think
go.
there was much further this story could go. I don't think you could want to go into personal life because it was about you
Yeah.
and the international, as it could be anyone, and they couldn't delve too far into it. So, as such, it became Roy the Rover's first RIP.
Mm.
Lasted 36 issues. Now, this is good. Miguel E. A. Ripeto signed off You Are the Star artwork in the last frame. And
Oh,
I don't
nice.
think I've seen many people do that.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, Mike's Mini Men. Mike won his match when we left him. He was playing a match and he was allowed to form a table football league in his boarding school. However, the prefect is expelled and replaced with a worse one, Grimes. Now, for those who are fans of Prisoner Cell Block H, just remember when Vinegar Tits was replaced by the Freak. And you've got this. This is the kind of thing it was,
Be
uh,
careful what you wish for.
a strict but fair person being replaced by an absolute git.
Psycho.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Grimes doesn't want them to play table football at all. Mike gets 4 whacks of the cricket bat on his backside for trying to play, and the pals have to sneak out and play at night. However, in a big change of direction, or maybe the writers are running out of ideas already for the boarding school, Mike's parents want him home again after less than 2 terms. Make your mind up, Mr. and Mrs. Daly. So Mike rejoins his old friends as they await a new school. But he's back in his old table football league with a new nasty Guy Maddox ready to nobble him. Next is Smith and Son. After leading Grandin Town to promotion to Division 3, Barry and Danny Smith are chosen to manage the England under-18 side in a tournament in Spain. There are, of course, many setbacks, including the players getting sunburnt before the final game against France, which they draw. But England are eliminated in the group stages, probably because they ran out of time in the summer to actually draw it. I enjoyed the second half of the season more than I did the first. The artwork was changed again near the end, and for me was a benefit to the strip.
Yeah.
And it looked like that would continue into season 2.
I was just going to say, sorry, I mean, apologies to listeners because obviously we're
That's okay.
on the big screen in the studio here, Ian sharing, and I'd like to say you can actually really sometimes I don't always notice the nuances of the artwork, but here you can really see. And so I hate to say this because I'd love to be able to draw as well as the original artist of Smith and Son, but for me this is a real upgrade on the artwork,
it is.
especially in
Yeah.
that bottom panel. For the listeners out there, there's a real good drawing of like a winger but being tackled by a fullback, and yeah, it's the details there. It's really good, and it was much better than the original
It
artwork, I think.
was. It was. But they still look like they're out of the 1920s or 30s. I'm sorry. So maybe it is set around at least in the 60s anyway, because I think the League Cup is mentioned. So my last one, I think this is my last one anyway. Millionaire Villa, truly awful at the end. Selby Villa
Hold on.
finished.
Do you want to get off that fence panel, Ian, and just tell us exactly what you think?
Yeah, Selby Villa finished lower mid-table probably, and he took the lads on holiday in his private jet to his own Caribbean island. The players didn't know they'd already been entered into a tournament, and I bet the club, the FA, and the Football League absolutely loved that. I got bored by this stage as David Bradley was now looking like a first division regular and played well. In their final match, they beat a team who played in American football gear by 18 goals to win their tournament on goal difference. So Simon's Secret, a super new story, starts next week. So it looks like it's R.I.P. Millionaire Villa. And
Wow.
there we
Yeah,
go. That is my review of the 1976 to 1977 season of Roy the Rovers comic.
brilliant. Brilliant. I've got to
Thank you.
say, it's really interesting as well, revisiting the original stories. And like you said there, Ian, well, three stories for me kind of sort of stand out. And I hate to say it, almost the ones that were my least favorites. So
Yeah,
first off, well, the football, interesting to say that you felt it got better. But it's one that I never read. But to me, it always reminds me of, I don't know if, well, we've mentioned before, everybody's of a similar age, but like the TV program, The Littlest Hobo, where the
Yeah, no,
dog
oh
definitely.
seemed
yeah,
to have
Yeah, yeah.
new owners every episode, the football. And I found that a bit strange is interesting. But the other two, You Are the Star and Millionaire Villa, I agree with you in actual fact. And you wonder, and we've never kind of really quizzed Barry on this, if he knows. But both of them kind of almost, to say that they were fillers would be wrong, but you always felt that they had a shelf life. As you say, with the You Are the Star, I was a big fan of it, but I don't think it could have gone on for season after season, like you said, because you couldn't really develop a storyline for the character because it's your own personal life. And
yeah,
then Millionaire Villa, once he gets good at football, it kind of loses its novelty. And where does the story go then? Then they just
yeah,
become a normal first division club, right? So quite interesting. And those were the ones that
yeah.
dropped off first.
I think with Millionaire Villa, the only thing they could have done is that his company goes into financial troubles, but then they just drop him, don't they?
Yeah.
Or maybe then the club gets into financial trouble, so they have to save the club. That would have been
Mm,
something good, something like
mm.
that. And they all rally around him because he's been good to the club, and they all now start to like him and all that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
maybe that would have been, but it wouldn't have got more than about half a season more, I don't think.
No, no. Interesting.
Mm, mm. What do you think, Neil? Any kind of thoughts on looking
No, I
back at
just
those kind of
I'm
like
just
early storylines and
no,
early
I've gone
stories?
through it. I've read the Rovers obviously a couple of times from the beginning to the end, but it's still when I come the same stories. I like the same stories. Nothing changes my mind. I don't like the football storyline. I didn't like the story of the journey of a football. So I used to skip through that. I started off like yourself. I started off enjoying Smith and Son, and then I just fell away with that as well because I don't know how a 16-year-old lad can be assistant manager of the team. And if you remember, he was quite good as well as an assistant, and it was just
Yeah,
like I was trying to work out how old his dad was. So if his dad say, "Oh, I'm 34," he had him when he was 18. But
Mhm.
and
realistic. Yeah, could happen.
Mm.
yeah, no, it could happen. But I'm
Yeah,
just trying to think, but there's no, I don't know. I never liked that. I loved You Are the Star. I think that was good. But like you say, where can you
yeah,
take the story? Where like you say, could you have gone to a World Cup? But again, that it's just
It's in, it's interesting because you're right, and until you said that there, Paul, as well, and thinking about it more, is that they don't have to stay that long, do they? I mean, comics. I mean,
No,
we
no, no,
started
it's
reading
right.
this, and that so
Mm.
a comic story doesn't have to last 10, 15 years.
No.
It's like
no.
they're just thinking, well, if it lasts 6 months,
And
fantastic,
it
you know.
surprises me like now when you think 76 and it's like, Tommy's Troubles and how long that story lasted.
Yeah.
Now it's like Billy's Boots, how they reinvented it for every year. And it was a lot of regurgitation of storylines
yes,
they lost the ground, like Joro's Palace, and then they found an even better one, but it kept you reading, didn't it?
yes, that's
And
right.
It it is. I mean, it is really funny. I know. I'm not gonna mention names, but I remember. I'm a bit of a Star Wars fan, but I don't think I could put myself into the category of like most Star Wars fans. But when they did the remake, I remember one of my friends said, "I don't get it. Everybody's raving about this new Star Wars movie, but it's exactly the same as Star Wars." And I was like, "Yeah, that's probably why we all loved it." 'Cause-
mm,
but the story, as in, you with me? It was Han
Yeah, yeah.
Solo's son, and
Yeah,
their
yeah,
son, and so instead of it being
Force
Anakin
Awakens.
Skywalker.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah,
and it is true what Neil says there. It is amazing that when you hit upon a winning
yeah.
formula,
Formula.
actually how
Yeah.
you can just keep on turning it over. And I have to admit, I used to love all those stories. And oh my God, Barnes United haven't got a ground again. Never for once thought
No.
for one
Yeah.
second, this is the 15th time since I've been reading it. No, oh my God, what is Tommy going to do? How
and
are they going to find a new ground?
they used to find
yeah.
like an old tennis court,
Yeah.
with a clubhouse. Nobody's using it, and Tommy used to go in, turn the electric on, the water, the gas,
Yeah.
Everything's
run a warm
working.
bath. Yeah, I never. all them land developers looking for land, and there's Tommy there finding this
And
nice
the
little
council would always be available to come down and check it, wouldn't they? Never
Yeah.
mind,
yeah,
you'd have
sign it
to
up.
kind of
Never
Yeah.
actually, hold on a minute. This is council ground and we could be using this
We
and
could
we're
be
going to
building
charge you to
houses on
use
it.
it. Yeah.
That's what happens every 6 months, is why he needed a new ground all the time. He realised how well it was
Brilliant.
going.
All the
As
local
he's-
teams I knew when I was that age, they all used to play on a pitch where there's 14 other games going on, and you all had to share a changing room with
Yeah.
grown men and stuff like
Well,
that. You know,
I mean, I've got to
40
say,
other
I mean,
teams.
that's the thing I loved about that. But I mean, when not I was any good myself, but like school teams and other clubs that I played for, I don't ever remember playing for a team that had their own ground and facilities. You know, it was always over Hackney Marshes or in a park with
Unless you
10
got
other
to final.
pitches and used, yeah, exactly. But as you say, most junior teams like that, yeah, they all played in leagues and things,
yeah,
but they were on, in parks and as I
yeah. Well,
say,
when
Hackney Marshes where I lived,
It's
for,
like I
for a
think we've
couple of
done
years,
Mag's Minimen as well before. You know, I think I've said it before about his TARDIS of a shed. You know,
yes, that's right. Yeah, that could fit
where
a whole
people could watch him play a match.
old table in and about 15 people around the side,
Yeah,
all
Yeah.
watching
it's
him.
And
amazing.
That
Isn't
would
it?
have
the
cost about
table
a
split in
grand.
half sometimes so they could do the shots and things like that.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I think Mike Day. I think he's yeah, his parents had a bit of money. Clearly, he's going to boarding school, isn't he? He's
Yes,
like
yeah,
probably a
exactly.
level above us,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
poor waifs and strays. Yeah,
I think
exactly.
he
Well,
was just a bit
Subbute,
annoying.
I didn't realise Subbute was a table football game because it was always on the floor when I played it.
Yeah, you used to dream of a table, didn't you? You used to
Yeah,
dream of a
exactly.
table.
What's the table?
I
luxury.
think
Well, that's that thing on a Saturday that we might have dinner on.
Bygone should be doing this. He's got the accent for it with Monty Python. Luxury.
Oh yeah,
luxury.
yeah.
No, but he's
Cardboard
doing it. It's
box.
just I think his mum and dad got sick of him for 2 terms, sent him away.
He was a bit smug. I never took to him, to be fair.
Yeah. Oh,
That was brilliant. Look, Ian,
thanks.
that's superb, excellent, and we look
Yeah.
forward to the other 16. Um, no, it's good stuff,
Brilliant.
brilliant, and well done for reading through, finding the
Oh yeah,
time to
take
do
my
it.
hat
It's
off.
amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So great stuff. Right. Okay, so we move on to the next item on the running order, and it's a collector's corner. So I'm going to hand over to Mr. Bygone Berrigan. So over to you, Bygone.
Hello. Yeah, so even though I've been on annual leave, good God, I'm back in work mode already. Awful.
Yeah, so I did authorize that holiday. You're fine,
I was going
Bygone.
to
You're
say,
fine.
because Matt the mute button only gives me 2 days annual leave from the
Yeah,
pod. I mean,
you
how
don't
many did
deserve
you
it.
get?
You don't deserve it. We start working as hard as
I,
Neil,
wa-
then we'll
I
have a
wangled
conversation.
I wangled a flight to Lanzarote as well. So
Oh, is it?
Through
Oh,
British Airways.
so do you have to? Is that what the bonuses of doing the holiday specials is? You get
Yeah.
extra leave
He
from the
mentioned that to
pod.
British Airways. He said, actually, I'm a host on a podcast,
I'm at the podcast department that we have in Lanzarote.
Brilliant, brilliant.
No, so just before I did go away, I bought one of I need as you are aware, I just need a few episodes now for my football picture story monthlies, and I picked up number 378, which is called Millionaires Row off eBay. So I've
Yeah,
received
brilliant.
that. So I opened that yesterday when I got home
Has
and I've
that
read the
got
first.
the guy doing the diving header on the cover? I've
No,
got
it's
that. No, that's
two
another
two
different one.
lads grappling for a ball.
Right, okay. No,
You
yeah,
can't
because your
do it on the
background, yeah.
a
Yeah,
little bit
sort of
there.
got it, but not, yeah.
Yeah.
Pixelated. Yeah.
It's a great story. I've just started. I'm about 10, 15 pages in, and it's about a chap who supports a lowly third division team who don't play that well, and then he wins the lottery. He wins 20 million on the lottery, and he buys his
Yeah.
local team and tries to turn them around.
Oh, great.
So, yeah. So about that, I'm having a read through it, and when as I'm reading it, it does seem a bit familiar. So I don't know if it's a book that I've had and lost, or I don't know. My brother borrowed it and never gave it me back, so I've got that. So I've only got about 4 or 5 more copies to purchase for that now. So I'm
Good
going to keep
stuff.
looking out on eBay, and off the Facebook group, the Great British Comic Collection, which is run by Doug Brain. I've just purchased 2 summer specials from there. I've got the Victor Summer Special from 1991 and the Tiger Holiday Special from 1980.
Do you know what? That's hilarious. I saw them and I nearly contacted you and said, "Are you bidding on these, Neil?" Because I
Yeah.
was thinking about bidding, but I decided not to, so that's why I didn't contact you.
Ah,
And I thought the last thing I want to do is drive the price up and we're bidding
yeah.
against each other.
Well, so yeah, I purchased them both anyway, so I'm just waiting for them to arrive. So I'm looking forward to that because obviously, I don't know if anybody's aware, I do love a good holiday special or a summer special. Um,
You've never mentioned it, actually. That's sort of surprising news.
but talking about driving prices up while we're on Collector's Corner, I'm going to stop actually naming which issues that I want because
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
right. Okay.
yeah,
You think
yeah.
we're spearing you, do you?
Mm,
I just for football picture story monthly especially, the price has gone stupid for
really.
even early editions and middle
Really.
editions and things like that. Somebody's selling one on there at the minute and they're like plus prices, and
Mm.
I think our podcast is driving prices up, so I'm
Did,
gonna
do,
start.
do you know something? It's very interesting over the years. I mean, I remember, the Roy the Rovers, but the playing years.
Mm,
There was a guy. I mean, because I had it, and I thought, wow, is it really worth that? I mean, there was a guy on eBay that had that on for 8 years, and it was like I asked him, and he was asking for over 100 quid
mm,
for it, but I don't think he ever sold it. I mean, and it's a brilliant book, and I don't know how rare it is, but I must admit, I thought it was like that was a bit top heavy. So I do
Mm.
think as well there are people out there that kind of chance their arm a little bit.
Yeah, for
They'll put
sure.
something on, put it at a high price, and of course, if they don't get it, then they lower it. But if they do, they're laughing as
if
such.
someone drunkenly
And
bids, it's like
Yeah,
some of the Tigers, some holiday specials I've noticed on eBay. They come from, I think it's America on some of them, and the
yeah.
prices are like I've seen one between 80 to like £300.
Wow.
And I don't know if, like you say, it just they're relying on a drunken impulse buy or
Mm,
something like that. I don't know.
mm,
I just like you say,
yeah,
but it's like the football picture story monthly holiday special. You know, the one where it's the
Yeah.
second one where
yeah,
yeah,
it's an actual picture cover. I remember bidding on that, and it went to like 80 odd
mm,
quid,
yeah,
wow.
and
Wow.
someone bought it for that price,
mm,
and
yeah.
thankfully picked up a cheaper copy.
Mm.
But yeah, so I'm not going to mention the numbers that I need anymore. But yeah, but there's bargains to be had, as Ian's found, picking up
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the
Yeah.
collection of Royal
Yeah.
Rovers and things like
Ian,
that.
yeah,
Sometimes it is. It can
fantastic
say
bargain.
it is about luck. I mean, and I mentioned. I
Yeah,
mean, I
definitely.
believe it wasn't in great quality, but we mentioned previously in this section about the issue number one, which, to the best of my knowledge, it had the free gift and everything about the free gift, and I think we saw it went for £1,000, didn't it, on eBay?
What are you talking about, Tiger?
The Tiger, sorry, issue number
Yeah.
one of Tiger, yeah, and it had the
Right.
free gift and everything, which I think was amazing because I believe the free gift was in all working order and it was in really good condition. But I think I mentioned, there's a guy who kind of trades, he does collect as well, and well, I'm often looking on eBay, but he found this lady who unfortunately her husband had passed away, and she had put a load of Tigers, early ones, and the issue number one for a very small price. And he actually told me that he went and picked them up, and he, in fact, gave her more money. He told her, and he did
Uh,
tell me because he told it to someone else that he knew. But he said to me,
You gave Noah a quid.
it was an issue number one. Yeah, I don't know how much, but but it wasn't in the. He said it wasn't in the best of condition.
Yeah, yeah,
He said, but it
yeah.
was still an issue number one. You know,
yeah,
so I
Yeah,
mean
yeah,
that
yeah.
man that's the thing. But sometimes, as Ian said there, it can be luck. You could just go on, and if you go on that minute that something maybe has
yeah,
just been listed with a buy it now price, or the person's willing, you can pick up a bargain.
yeah,
I like to think that 99% of the people are kind of honest and fair
yeah,
people.
Yeah,
Definitely
yeah,
that's what I found
mm,
when I've
yeah.
been buying stuff. Yeah.
mm,
Especially on these sides. I mean, eBay, you've got like a bit of cover how when you purchase things, but on Facebook, I'm always wary that people are screenshotting other people's comics, and
Yeah.
you send money and it's the person then disappears. I just advise everybody just to make sure you do a bit of research into the person selling, make sure they've
yeah,
been a member for a long time, make sure they've
Yeah.
actually got friends or they've been in the group and been
mm,
commenting and things like that.
mm,
And that's
Yeah,
but
But
when
yeah,
I
got
when
in.
I bought my collection of Roy the Rovers, it was cash on collection.
yeah,
yeah.
So
So
I didn't have that
yeah,
issue. And even
yeah,
then, with no
mm,
disrespect to the guy I bought it off, I had a quick flick through just to make sure that they were all issues of Roy the Rovers, and stuff
yeah,
like that, because I
mm,
obviously didn't know the guy, but he knows no
mm,
issue because he was an
mm,
incredibly nice bloke. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
no,
yeah.
Is that why you were over to Lanzarote, Neil? You were trying to hunt down some like bloke who's done a runner with your money or something like that for a previous.
yeah.
You're.
So
I will hunt you down. I
I
will
will.
find you.
And I didn't find him, so I'm going back to the podcast villa in October.
Brilliant. Right, who
Brilliant.
else has been buying some stuff then?
Yeah.
So that's you, Neil. Paul, you've you?
Oh,
Well, no, actually, I haven't purchased. I can't remember what my update. I might have got some Victors, but I think I remembered that. I might have mentioned that last time, but
Okay.
I've sort of stopped a little bit, mainly as Neil said it. If you remember, it was my New Year's resolution to try and get all my collection complete, but I didn't realise kind of what was involved in that, and I've taken a step. I've taken a step back, to be quite honest.
Okay.
I'll
Well,
soon get you. I'll soon get you back on track. I'll find
yeah,
some remote
yeah.
magazine.
Oh, do you know what? I've found a word that I didn't realise I had within me, some discipline actually.
Blimey. Okay. Well,
What about you, Matt?
Yeah. Cheers, Neil. I've got a few bits. So I went down to a local market or Deptford market actually, um, a few weeks ago, and I purchased these. So I've got a
Oh,
Well,
Victor
Oh,
nice. Yeah,
nice.
1992
brilliant.
annual. I'm
Yeah,
showing it on the screen, and a 1993 as
great.
well.
Yeah,
So they've both got. Well, this one's obviously got the goals of Jimmy Grant on the
Yeah.
actual
yeah.
cover. I think I think it's £1 each or £2 each.
Okay.
I know. What I found
That's not
finding
bad.
is and I know Neil, you do this. Boot sales are just dirt cheap, and you've always got a good chance. We've always said that charity shops is a bit hard to do. Really, you few and far
mm,
between. But and because I went to a boot sale, I think it's a couple of weeks ago, and I got this. And this is a Smash
Oh,
annual.
brand new.
Have you
no,
guys heard of
no,
Smash or got any
no.
of them
Can't
Smash?
say no.
Neil, you're nodding your head. Have you got any of those?
No, no, I've not got any. I see them and I flick through to see if they've got any football stories in, but I've never purchased any.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sim
Oh, wow.
I'd heard
Worldwide
of
Wonders.
Mm.
Smash. Yeah, I'm showing this
This,
story on screen. It's the Worldwide Wanderers, and so Smash for listeners who haven't heard of it, or if you have heard of it and just want to know a
mm,
bit more information. I think it ran from 1966 to 1971, and it was actually with Oddham's Press. And then I think IPC took it over in 1969. So this is an IPC annual. This is 1971
mm.
annual, and I think Smash actually started off doing reprints of Marvel comics from the US in like 66, 67. But yeah, this one, I think there were a couple of football stories in it. But yeah, I mean, the main reason I purchased it and showing it on the collector's corner is because I just want Paul to have to go out and buy more comics.
We
That is my
we
purpose in life, is to bankrupt Paul.
yeah.
So
And
Is this,
can I just say has become dangerously close this year, and that's why I've learned the word discipline. And as I've already exclusively revealed on this pod, I am now just sticking to the titles that I know. And
mm,
if I was to go to other comics, unlike say Victor, although there's always, some of these others, maybe when there's just the football stories. But no, I think I'm just going to end up sticking with what I've got now.
Mhm.
really,
Yeah,
you do disappoint me.
Just
yeah,
Uh,
I'm
just
sorry.
just looked it up, and Smash went from 5th of February 1966 to 3rd of April 1971, and
yeah,
after 257 issues, it merged into Valiant.
yeah. So there you go. Yeah, so
Right,
Valiant,
there you
yeah.
which
go,
we know has
Valiant.
got a few
There
football
was another
stories in
one
it.
called Wham, I think, as well.
Yes,
Uh,
Wham and
really,
Pow,
wow.
fantastic. I think they're all kind of from Oddham's Press,
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
came out in like mid
follows up.
60s. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like superheroes. I mean, it's quite an interesting comic because it's actually got all sorts. It's got humor in it. You get superheroes, and you do get a smattering of sports stories. And say there's a couple of football ones. This Worldwide Wanderers is actually
Mm.
it's 11 far-flung foreigners have been brought to England by millionaire Harry Craft to play as Pugpool Wanderers in the Football League. Under tough Scottish manager Rory Granite, they rose to the first division and won the league championship, and then reached the semi-final of the European Cup. So you've got these characters there, all from different countries.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I suppose in 1970, well, this would have been 1970, you wouldn't get hardly any foreign players at all, would you? So having it was quite,
No, that would have been, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so I got that. And then finally, I did mention this on the Collector's Corner we did previously. This is the book, I'm holding up the paperback of Vermin, which is a novel by William A. Graham, friend of the show, Bill Graham.
But I was going to say Bill to his friends, like
Willie boy,
us.
Bill. Yeah, me and Bill were like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
obviously,
exactly.
he's put a restraining order on me, obviously, and changed his email address 5 times. But I will find you. Bill.
Mhm.
But yeah, in all seriousness, I read the book, um, and it's really good. Just kind of give a brief summary of it. It's about a private detective called Alan Linton, and the character turns up in his office trying to hunt. He's got a picture of a girl, and he wants to give a message to this girl, this like kind of teenager or 19, 20-year-old. And anyway, the private investigator tries to find this girl, whoever this girl is, and it's all based around Dundee. And this is what I think is really I
Yeah.
found really interesting is obviously because I've met Bill and Martin, and obviously they're based and lived and worked in Dundee all their careers, and obviously working
Yeah.
for DC Thompson. It's the amount of places he mentions in Dundee,
Yeah.
pubs and restaurants, and he talks about some of the history of Dundee, and I found that really fascinating because I think, well, this must be true. He's
Mm.
drawing on his own
Yeah,
experiences.
completely.
And he talks about a couple of press people he meets, some different characters. And yeah, the story kind of it keeps you thinking right into the last few pages of what has actually
Brilliant.
happened. And it goes into kind of the underworld as well of Dundee and in London as well. But yeah, no, I do really recommend it. And I emailed Bill and said how much I enjoyed it, and he did say that some of the places are real places actually there in Dundee.
Fantastic.
So yeah, so that's Vermin, and so I enjoyed it so much I bought his other book,
Hey,
and that is called, I'm showing it on screen, Blood on the Law.
Yeah.
So that's his.
good
He
stuff.
he did two novels,
Yeah,
William A. Graham. So yeah, if
brilliant.
you fancy a read, so I don't usually read that type of book.
Available in all good bookstores and some bad bookstores as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
plenty of bad ones, plenty of
yeah.
bad ones. Um,
It's where you normally find me.
okay, good stuff. Well,
Brilliant.
that's the show, right? Let's do the socials. I'll do all the socials,
Hmm.
and then maybe we might want to talk about what we might have coming up in some like future episodes, and then have some last words from everybody. So the socials, just to let you know, I won't go through every single one, but you can find us on Facebook. Obviously, the main sites are Roy the Rovers 40 Years On, created by good friends of the show, Ed Taylor. And then we have the Champ, We Are United, and Football Picture Story Monthly site, Facebook site as well, which is kind of administered by us here, set
Yeah,
up by the Podfather Gull. Um, and the Mighty World of British Comics. Sometimes you can find us on there. We're on X, champ_R, and of course you can see us on YouTube, and that's where you can actually kind of follow the stories because as of like today's show, Ian done a fantastic PowerPoint presentation and kind of taking us through all the different stories. So that was fantastic as well. And finally, we have the website, which is the Champ We Are United website, which is posted on Pro Boards as well, which has got loads of different information. That was created by Gull as well. So if you want to go on there, please look it up. So that's it.
great stuff.
That's it.
Brilliant.
Next show probably be in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah.
I've got some stuff we can do, but as ever, just letting you into the secrets, listeners. We don't decide until like the week before. Have you got anything? Yeah, I've got this. I can got that. Clearly, Ian's got another 16 volumes to kind of go through.
Exactly.
when you're free to come on the show, Ian. But Paul, have you
No
got anything?
problem.
Have you got anything
Well,
to kind of?
well, obviously, hopefully, we'll do the FA Cup semi-final replay
Oh,
of
yeah.
Of course.
United against Manchester.
Look forward to
I'm
that.
not sure if I will have it. I have mentioned this, but I do need to do the research. There's a little summertime pre-season hotshot Hamish story when he meets a goalkeeper who's got rock hands, so can actually potentially save the hot shot. So that's one I'd like to
Wow.
do soon. So I'm not sure if it'd be the next pod or the one after, but I'm certainly going to do some work on that.
Good stuff. Bygone.
Yeah, I'm going to hopefully review the 1980 Tiger Holiday Special, keeping in with summer specials, and we'll still be
Fantastic.
touching summer, won't we? Is it the 31st of
Yeah.
August, holiday weekend?
Yeah.
I think, is it? No,
Yeah.
it's not.
No, it's not. It's not. It's
It's
the week
20
after, isn't it? Yeah.
25th, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I'll probably review that if that's okay. If everybody wants.
Yeah.
I love a Tiger Holiday Special.
No, really? Nobody had
We haven't noticed
noticed.
that. No.
No, really.
Um,
I'm just so looking forward to it because he's like, it's just a new summer special, so
Look
it'll
at
be
his
still
face. His
exciting.
face is just lighting up with a big
It's
smile on his
brilliant.
face. He
It's
can't
lovely.
wait.
It's the
You are
enjoyment.
like a
It's
8-year-old,
fantastic.
aren't you?
Yeah.
Uh,
That's
That's
brilliant.
good. Yeah, I've got a couple of things to go through. I have got the Blackie Grey story as well.
Well,
So
that's
I've
going to be
That'll be
mammoth.
interesting. That will be
yeah, it
interesting.
goes 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s,
Yeah.
90s. So yeah,
Especially when he
2000s.
re-meets Roy again after going to school with him.
well, yeah. We've cut, as you know, Ian, we've touched on that
I do, yeah.
controversy. Don't set me,
There's ways
don't
and
set me
means
off.
around that. There's
Don't set
ways
me
and means.
off. Don't set me off.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots to do, and of course we have David Hunt coming on the show as well in
Yeah.
the end of September. So we're all looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. That's the show. So, chaps, I'll come around just for like some final words from everybody. So let's kick off with our special guest, although he's obviously he's a regular contributor now.
Yeah.
Ian, final few words from yourself.
That's great. Well, thanks very much, Joachim Var, for letting me on the show, and hopefully now promoting to regular. And I think I will, if you'll have me, I think I will be back next time. And yeah, I enjoyed it. Hope everyone else did too.
Yeah,
I'm sure I
definitely.
did. Thanks a lot, Ian. Cheers. Bygone.
Yeah, really enjoyable episode. I'm obviously going through this 1976-77 season of Roy the Rovers, and I think I might dig out one of my summer specials and have a quick read through You Are the Star and even Millionaire Villa. That was in the annual, wasn't it? So I'll have a quick read through them. Yeah.
Excellent.
But yeah,
Thank you.
really good episode. And obviously the We Are United story again. It's fantastic. The artwork's fantastic and
Yeah.
really pulls you in. I love the way it's split. Like you have the build up to the match and then the actual match.
So
I like
clever. So
obviously, and it's
clever.
delivered really well as well.
Yeah.
My heart's beating as it ends.
Talking of him, I think his heart rate's come down slightly. The nurse has kind of seen to him.
Wow. Well, do you know
Mad.
what? I mean, when you see that cover and the train, who knew what was going to be in the pages as I turned that cover of that edition of Champ? I hope I conveyed the excitement that I had when I originally saw it and revisited it to all our listeners and our YouTube visitors. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. Great to see Ian's review. I really enjoy that actually, and it's nice to go back to the beginning. And I like what you've done rather than really going into massive depth, but a lovely
Yeah.
summary on
Skim
the
over.
stories, and it's good
Yeah.
because it gives it as well. It gives us the leeway and future to pick a story or a season and then really go into
Do a deep
depth. So
dive.
Definitely.
it's brilliant, and it's a shame that our very own Judith Chalmers didn't get away this pod, but no doubt a holiday special winging its way to us before we know it. So yeah. And can I just say, what a start, cutting off goal even when he's not here. It had it all. It had it all.
Yeah, I'll probably get some feedback from somebody else at some point when I
I wonder who that
I'll
might
just
be.
Probably audio feedback for the next one. You might even get told off live.
oh God dear me. Yeah, I know. I can take it. I can take it. Brilliant stuff, guys. Look, I think it's been a great show. Thank you for all your features. We'll see you at the next show. Till then, goodbye.
Bye.